Dear Professor Ross, dear Mr. Fitchen, dear President Issing, dear distinguished speakers, dear colleagues and students, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Center for Financial Studies at Goethe University, I am happy to welcome you to this symposium in honor of the recipient of the Deutsche Bank Prize in Financial Economics 2015. My name is Jan Krahnen. I am the chair of this year's prize jury and a CFS director at Goethe University. I will basically guide you through today's program. This year marks the 6th time the prize is awarded and the 10th year since its inception. This prize was established by Goethe University and the Center for Financial Studies to honor an internationally renowned researcher who has excelled through influential contributions to research in the fields of finance, money, and macroeconomics, and whose work has led to practice and policy-relevant results. It is sponsored by the Deutsche Bank Donation Fund in the Charitable Association for German Science. The donor is particularly committed to the prize in that they not only endow it with a cash award of 50,000 euro, one of the highest in the field, but also provide generous funding for associated activities to honor the recipient and to encourage fruitful interaction among researchers, policymakers, and financial practitioners. Today's symposium, following the award ceremony, is the most prominent and important of these activities. The wide attendance today, as in recent symposia, confirms the public interest in and appreciation for this telling example of corporate citizenship. With funding in place, the responsibility for choosing the most suitable candidate lies exclusively with researchers from academia, policy, and practice. The jury is chaired by one of the CFS directors. I was honored to be the one in 2015. Members of the jury, of this year's jury, include the professors Guillermo Calvo of Columbia University, Nobuhiro Kiyotaki of Princeton University, Robert Merton from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Nobel Prize winner 1997, René Stulz from Ohio State University and a longtime editor of the Journal of Finance, David Volkerts-Landau, Deutsche Bank's Group's chief economist, global head of market research and member of the Group Executive Committee, and from Goethe University and Center for Financial Studies, its president Ottmar Issing and professors Michales Haliassos, Holger Kraft, Uwe Walz, and Mirko Wiederhold. That is the jury. The jury sessions were very lively and very seriously focused on academic contributions and their significance for research, policy, and practice. While the winners are typically candidates supported widely by nominating colleagues from all continents, the decision who gets the prize is not based on a popularity score, but on careful weighing of the strength of each candidate. The prize winner is found after a series of votes are taken among jury members. I would like to thank the members of this year's jury for their insightful and constructive input, but also for a smooth and quick convergence to the name of the winner. The most daunting task the jury faces is to maintain and strengthen the reputation of the prize, thereby enhancing the value of the prize to previous awardees. A quick look at the 5 previous awardees explains this point. In 2005, when the prize was established, it was given to Eugene Fama of the University of Chicago for, and I quote from the statement of the jury statement, for developing and investigating the concept of market efficiency, a cornerstone in the area of finance. He was a Nobel laureate in economic science 8 years later, and I'm very happy and glad that he also will be present today in our symposium. In 2007, the prize was awarded to Michael Woodford of Columbia University for his fundamental contributions to the theory and practical analysis of monetary policy. In 2009, the prize winner was Robert Shiller of Yale University, who received the prize for his pioneering research in the field of financial economics relating to dynamics of asset prices and their metrics. He too was a Nobel laureate in economic sciences 4 years later. In 2011, the jury chose Professor Kenneth Rogoff for his pioneering contributions in the field of international finance and macro, including research on exchange rates and central bank credibility. In 2013, the prize went to Professor Raghu Rajan of Chicago University for his theoretical and empirical contributions to the role of financial intermediation in corporate financing and economic growth. He became the governor of the Bank of India just between the prize decision and the Symposium event in 2013. For this year's prize deliberation, we received personal statements and recommendation letters in favor of 115 different nominees, which were submitted from a panel comprising more than 4,500 researchers at top universities, distinguished research centers, and central banks around the world that have been hand-picked since the initiation of this prize. The largest number of nominations, about 40%, came from the US institutions, and just below 10% each from the UK and from Germany. The panel now includes researchers and research institutions from more than 60 countries. This year's recipient of the Deutsche Bank Prize is Steve Ross, the Franco Modigliani Professor of Financial Economics and Professor of Finance at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology Sloan School of Management, whom we welcome here today with our deepest appreciation and with an applause at that moment. The Deutsche Bank Prize is supposed to honor exceptional academic research that contributed to the foundation of our discipline and that can be applied to policy and practice. This year, the prize honors an academic researcher who has, in a most fundamental way, helped developing the basic concepts and methods that describe how markets value financial assets, how these assets can be designed, and how portfolios of such assets can be managed efficiently. Professor Ross has helped to implement his research findings in the real world of financial markets, giving additional credibility to his theoretical findings and recommendations. We will hear more about his various areas of expertise later on during the symposium. Let me add one thing right away, also as a word of caution before the symposium will take off. Even those in the audience who are not genuine financial engineers will take away from today's lectures and discussions a sense of what characterizes serious academic work. Despite Professor Ross' unfettered analytical orientation, you will find out, perhaps surprisingly, that rigor and relevance need not at all to be antipodes, as it is sometimes insinuated. Professor Ross, in his relentless attempts to strengthen our understanding of valuation in a world with competing investors and open market entry, has become not only the anchorman for researchers in asset pricing around the world, but also a highly esteemed advisor to fund managers and financial engineers. Therefore, even if you may not find all presentations today to be straightforward, easy to digest material, you will have the unique opportunity to glimpse into the laboratory of high finance. I hope you will enjoy it. Ross' work spans in remarkably broad range of areas in financial economics, ranging from the pricing of assets in financial markets, both in the cross-section and over time, as well as the role of information and incentives in financial contracting. In finance, we speak of two major areas today, namely asset pricing and corporate finance. And researchers typically decide early in their career in which area to work and then to spend their academic life. Border crossers are rare. Nevertheless, both fields claim Steve Ross as being among the small number of true ground workers of the discipline. Steve Ross has never stopped producing top-quality research. His most recent contribution, on which he will have to say a bit more later on, namely later on offers a practical solution to a long-standing open question in asset pricing, namely how observed prices can be used to learn about the probability distribution of future prices and therefore about expected return. The list of Ross students reads like a who is who of financial economics. His students have even founded a society that concentrates on academic exchange and organizes regular conferences. Let me turn finally to the symposium that will follow the award ceremony and which in some way reflects the outstanding list of students and close colleagues Steve Ross has had over his academic life to date. In planning the symposium, I asked Steve Ross to tell me the dream team among his professional friends that he would like to join him and us in the symposium. I was very impressed when I heard his list, but I was totally overwhelmed when they responded to our invitation. Practically all of them are with us today, and it took only one email and a few hours to get each response. Philip Dybvig, the Boatsman's Bank Shares Professor of Banking and Finance at Washington University, has kindly accepted to offer the laudatory speech immediately after the presentation of the reward. Robert Merton, the Nobel laureate of 1997 and a DB Prize jury member in 2013 and 2015, will speak on the term structure of interest rates, one of Steve Ross' main areas of work. Gerd Ruvenhorst, Robert B. and Candice J. Haas Professor of Corporate Finance at Yale University, will speak on the role of long-term historical price series for testing valuation hypotheses, for example, leading to the development of price bubbles. Steve Ross, the DB Prize winner 2015, will talk about a recent contribution of his to the literature, which is entitled The Recovery Theorem. This work is brand new and potentially of great importance also for practitioners, though clearly requiring an attentive audience, that I want to say in advance. Following Ross' keynote lecture, a set of distinguished panelists will speak on the meaning of efficient markets in the sense of speed of information flow into asset prices, an often misunderstood concept. The panel will explore the limits of policy interventions in the presence of well-functioning financial markets. The panelists are Eugene Farmer, the Robert McCormick Distinguished Service Professor of Finance at University of Chicago, and as I said already, winner of the DB Prize in 2005 and the Nobel Laureate in Economics 2013. Josef Zechner, Professor of Finance and Investment at the Economics University of Vienna, and a jury member in 2005. And Martin Hellwig, Director of the Max Planck Institute for Research on Collective Goods and a Professor of Economics at the University of Bonn. On behalf of CFS and Goethe University, I would like to express my warmest thanks to the distinguished speakers who so readily accepted our invitation to contribute to this event. I would also like to express deep appreciation for the funding and for the vision that Deutsche Bank provides through its unwavering support for the prize over the past 10 years. Last but not least, I want to thank very much Sabine Kimmel, the responsible manager at CFS, for her excellent and outstanding commitment and her invaluable contribution to today's event. It is my privilege to welcome Mr. Jürgen Fitschen, Co-Chief Executive Officer of Deutsche Bank, who will now give the award ceremony speech and present the trophy.